I don't know if you've had this experience, but at some churches, if you show up as a visitor, the priest or pastor might ask you to stand up and say your name, and they'll welcome you. Well, in one of my favorite stories from Acts, the book that we're reading during Easter, and by favorite stories I mean top 20 or something. I have lots of favorite stories from Acts. In Acts 13, Paul starts out on his missionary journeys and ends up in a place called Pisidian Antioch. It was one of the Antiochs. And they're in the synagogue. They read the scripture readings. And at this point, you would think, okay, that must be now time for the sermon. But the synagogue rulers asked Paul to stand up and share a message of encouragement and to share good news with them. And so he gets up and he preaches. And the book of Acts then gives us a lot of that. It's one of the long speeches recorded in the book of Acts. So imagine walking into a church as a stranger, as a visitor, and someone asks you to stand up and give the sermon, impromptu, just like that. That's a tough call. But we kind of just have to be ready all the time to share good news, to share edifying thoughts with other people. Right now, we're in the era of COVID-19. Lots of things are changing, and we wish things would go back to normal. But we're also in Easter, and that's a time of new life, new things. And so here's an opportunity for us to try something new, to maybe share some things digitally, because we can't be so much in contact with one another. So what I would like is that a couple of us at St. Mary's start producing devotions, reflections, edifying thoughts, descriptions of good and important things in this world that we can share with one another digitally. We can prepare a St. Mary's YouTube channel and find new ways of communicating with one another, encouraging one another, and sharing good news.